So after teaching college, because I had stopped, I decided, let me do something I've never done before to target two different populations. And I said, because if I can help them get jobs, if I can help them get back to work, maybe what I'm doing is actually pretty good. Now, mind you, I had results up until this point, but I kept testing it with different populations. And to my surprise, once again, it worked. I mean, people were telling me, man, this works, Mr. Nelson. Thank you so much. I was like, what am I doing here? I wasn't documenting anything. All I kept doing was sharing what I was doing, what I did. And so finally, I had a job. My son got hurt, and I don't know how he got hurt, but he got hurt. I said, oh no, I'm going to stay home and take care of my son. So I just left the job. Boy, that was tough financially, but I left the job. And I never forget, I had hired someone. Well, I didn't hire them, but I pretty much hired them. I brought them in, got them interviewed, and they started doing their paperwork for a job. And then the center director got mad at me. But it was one of my sister's best friends, and she needed a job. But anyway, I got her the job. It wasn't even a couple of months later, maybe a year, maybe a year later. I ended up leaving, and she was talking to my sister. Is Sean going to be okay? Is he going to be okay? And I never forget what she told me. She told her friend though, well, Sean, my brother? Nah, you ain't got to worry about him. He always get jobs. He never have problems getting jobs. And when she told me she said that, that's when something in me said, click. Wait a minute, Sean. Now your sister can see you have something. You need to stop and really reassess and write down, what is it you're doing? How is it you're able to get results when others are not getting results? And so that's when that little gap, that little 4-month, 5-month gap, when I was home with my son, taking care of him until I found him a good daycare, I just spent time learning what I did and replaying everything. I was learning how to do websites as well, e-commerce websites at that time. And I was like, man, so this is what I'm doing. Okay. So then what ended up happening was, got him in a good daycare. And I said, all right, now I want to see how good I am. Once again, I want to challenge myself. So I worked for a particular organization, which I will not name. They're not in business anymore. I went to their location in downtown Manhattan. I did it as a temp. It wasn't anything crazy. I had, I believe, 130 people in the room every day. And I had to train 130 people every day. And I walked in, hit the ground running. And they were amazed that I learned this system in about 2 days, and I controlled and managed that room. And they couldn't believe what was going on. In that moment, I said, okay, you got something here. And once I realized, okay, if I got something, this is the population I want to work with. But I couldn't find a job during that time. And so what ended up happening was, while I was working this temp job, I had interviewed a couple of months earlier. They made me an offer. I turned it down. It wasn't enough. They called me back like 2 months later, 2.5 months later. Are you still interested? I said, what are you offering? We negotiated, they gave me close to what I was looking for. Took the job right before Christmas. That job didn't last long, but while I was there, I remembered that experience with those 120, 130 people. I said, wait a minute, Sean, you got to get back to helping this population. Because if you can make a difference in their lives, imagine what you can do with someone who do not have the obstacles that they have. I was like, okay, we got to get back to that population.